Last-minute shoppers flock to Divisoria for cheap gift items. Prices of fruits, meanwhile, are seen to increase in the coming days. Retailers see no price reduction even with Rice Tarification Act. And Indonesian authorities search for survivors after a massive underwater volcano landslide triggers tsunami. Good evening. Shoppers brave the wet weather and muddy roads leading to Divisoria in Manila amid the holiday rush. Meanwhile, prices of several fruits are seen to go up in the next few days as the year-end celebration draws near. JL Asayo tells us why.
The holiday cheer is here, but some Filipinos are still rushing to hunt for gifts or complete their preparations for a time to spend with their loved ones this holiday season. And though the weather has been wet all day, many still brave the rains and muddy pavements to go to Divisoria for a last-minute shopping. Divisoria is a marketplace in Manila where stalls abound with goods that are more affordable than the ones sold in malls and department stores. One can buy children's wear here for 150 to 300 pesos, t-shirts from 100 to 200 pesos, women's blouse for 130 to 350 pesos, and jumpsuits for 300 pesos each. Bath towels here cost 85 to 100 pesos, while toys cost 35 to 2,000 pesos depending on its make and form.
Eto, kaya nga dito kami sa Divisoria kasi walang budget talaga.
Despite the large number of people milling around Divisoria, retailer Rolando Villodres still laments their slow sales this season.
Dapat nitong holiday season, nakaka 20,000 kahit paano eh. Ngayon, mahirap na. Mga 15 na lang, 10. Lalo na pagka ganyang muulan, nasa 5, 6 na lang.
Fruit vendors here also say that the prices of fruits, especially the round-shaped ones, remain stable. Red grapes are sold at 200 to 220 pesos a kilo, black grapes at 280 a kilo, while the green ones cost 280 pesos per kilogram. A pack of 3 seedless oranges costs 100 pesos each, as well as a pack of 4 Fuji apples. Pineapples are now 60 pesos a piece, while mangoes sell at 150 pesos per kilogram. Melons are priced from 50 to 200 pesos depending on sizes, while chestnuts cost around 300 pesos a kilo. Fruit vendors expect that prices of fruits will increase as year-end festivities draw near.
Mataas po kasi yan kasi demanda po kasi panghanda para sa bagong taon. Kasi kinokompleto na lang yung 13 fruits.
JL Asayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Meanwhile, the Department of Health records 7 firecracker-related injuries nationwide since it started its monitoring last Friday, December 21. DOH reports that 3 of the patients sustained blast and burn injuries, 1 sustained eye injury, while another needed an amputation. The remaining 2 are still confined in the hospital. All victims were boys ranging in ages from 2 to 13 years old. However, the DOH stressed that the number of cases recorded so far this year is 44% lower compared to the figure during the same period in 2017 and 58% lower than the average over the past 5 years. The agency also assures that all its retained hospitals have been placed under Code White Alert and are ready to respond to emergency cases this holiday season. President Rodrigo Duterte visited young cancer patients in Davao City yesterday. Photos released by Malacanang showed the president checking on, interacting with, and giving gifts to children confined at the Southern Philippines Medical Center Cancer Institute Children's Unit. It has been a tradition for Duterte to visit children with illnesses during the holiday season that dates back to the time when he was still city mayor. Malacanang says Duterte will stay in Davao City to celebrate the holidays with his family. In other news, a rice retailer group is not convinced that rice tarification will reduce the price of rice in the market. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
Senate Committee on Agriculture and Food Chairperson Senator Cynthia Villar insists that the National Food Authority still has the mandate to produce cheaper rice for the public even when the rice tarification bill becomes a law. According to the senator, as President Rodrigo Duterte had previously said, even with the liberalization of the rice industry, the NFA shall continue to provide affordable rice for the public. This is by way of buying palay to the local farmers. This is the statement of the lawmaker on response to the statement of Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol that the NFA will not be able to sell cheaper rice as they will be restricted from importing. Despite this, the Rice Retailer Group Alyansa ng Industriyang Bigas is not convinced that rice tarification will reduce the price of rice.
May tariff kami na binabayaran na 35% of the amount kung magkano bili namin sa abroad like Vietnam, Thailand. Pero pag mapirmahan yung tarification bill, ibig sabihin may tariff pa rin, 35%. Pero kahit sino pwede magparating open na Ano mangyayari? Walang magre-regulate. There should be somebody who would regulate.
Based on computation of lawmakers who push for the enactment of rice tarification, the price of commercial rice may be reduced by 4 to 7 pesos per kilo. But the Rice Retailers Group do not believe this promise of reduced price due to the threat of increase in excise tax on petroleum products next year, particularly the additional 2 peso per liter excise tax in diesel and gasoline starting January 1.
Pag-transport po ng bigas from island to island, we need fuel. So, apektado rin kami. So, yung mangyayari yan, add-on cost namin yan.
Senate Committee on Economic Affairs Chairman Senator Sherwin Gatchalian meanwhile believes that the market will have more supply of cheaper rice due to rice tarification. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Oil industry players have already implemented a price rollback last week, while some will slash prices tomorrow morning. Mon Hokson will tell us why.
1 peso per liter were slashed off by some oil companies in their petroleum products last Saturday. According to industry players, consumers will have a 1 peso per liter price cut on gasoline, diesel, and kerosene. The oil companies that implemented the rollback last Saturday were Unioil, Sea Oil, Phoenix, and PTT Philippines. Yesterday, Jetty implemented the price cut, while Shell and Petrogas will slash prices tomorrow morning. Based on the data of the Department of Energy, price increases had been more frequent this year than price rollbacks. DOE said even though oil exporting countries decided to cut production, this will not greatly affect the oil prices in the world market. This is because there is still an oversupply of oil products from the United States, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. The effect in prices will be felt when oil exporting countries start the 1.2 million barrel production cut per day from January 2019 until July 2019.
Kaya lang dahil doon sa ng OPEC na magkaroon ng production cut, apektado ang supply. So kapag may supply disruption, apektado ang presyo.
The Organization of Oil Exporting Countries decided to cut their production because oil prices have plummeted in the world market due to oversupply. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Transportation Department says it is open to study a proposal to legalize the use of motorcycles for public transportation following the suspension of the operation of ride-hailing service app Angkas. Joan Nano tells us why.
The Department of Transportation has created a technical working group to study on the possible legalization of motorcycles for public transportation. The idea was in consideration of the existing Temporary Restraining Order or TRO filed against the operation of motorcycle ride-hailing service Angkas. The TWG is composed of members from the DOTR, Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, Land Transportation Office, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, and the PNP Highway Patrol Group. Other members of the group include members from the Senate, the House of Representatives, commuters and road safety advocates, as well as motorcycle manufacturers, motorcycle organization, and members from law schools. According to Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade, deliberations on the proposal will prioritize passenger safety as well as the responsibilities of the motorcycle driver in the event of an accident. In a statement, Tugade said that the agency understands that a number of Filipinos patronize motorcycles as public transport. But he says the public should remember that there is a law against this and the Supreme Court has issued a TRO. And though the law is the law and the executive will not be the first to break it, Tugade assured that the DOTR know how to listen. The DOTR and the LTFRB earlier maintained that under Republic Act 4136, the use of motorcycle for public transportation is prohibited in the Philippines. As for the ride-hailing company Angkas, its management has already submitted their comment and is now awaiting the final decision from the Supreme Court as regards their operation. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Meanwhile, rescue teams in Indonesia continue to search for survivors following the underwater collapse of part of Anak Krakatau volcano that caused a tsunami to the Sunda Strait last Saturday. Kath Dumaraos tells us why.
The death toll from a tsunami triggered by a massive underwater landslide on an Indonesian volcano rose to 281 on Monday, as rescuers using heavy machinery and their bare hands searched through debris in the hope of finding survivors. Indonesia's meteorological agency confirmed the collapse of part of Anak Krakatau, a volcano midway between Java and Sumatra, caused a tsunami 2 to 3 meters high that hit the rim of the Sunda Strait late on Saturday. At least 1,000 people were injured and nearly 12,000 coastal residents forcibly evacuated to higher ground, with a high tide warning extended to Wednesday. Anak Krakatau, which means child of Krakatau, has been spewing ash and lava for months. 64 hectares of the southwest side of the volcano collapsed.
From all this data, it is confirmed that the tsunami was due to volcanic activities of Anak Krakatau.
Aktivitas anak Gunung Krakatau.
Aid trickled into Pandeglang, the worst affected area on Java's west coast, and hundreds of soldiers and volunteers picked through piles of wreckage looking for bodies along a 100-kilometer stretch of beach. The vast archipelago, which sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, has suffered its worst annual death toll from disasters in more than a decade. Earthquakes flattened parts of the tourist island of Lombok in July and August, and a double quake and tsunami killed more than 2,000 people on Sulawesi Island in September. Saturday's tsunami came with almost no warning and destroyed more than 700 buildings, from small shops and houses to villas and hotels.
At 9:15 p.m., a band called 17 went on stage after my turn, and at about 9:30 p.m., I saw water coming from behind the stage, as the stage had its back to beach, which was about 10 meters away, and the stage was about 6 to 8 meters high. When I saw water come in, about knee-high, I tried to run, but suddenly, the current dragged me, and I was drifting away.
Disaster Mitigation Agency spokesman Sutopo Purwo Nugroho said Indonesia had no warning system for volcanoes and underwater landslides. President Joko Widodo visited the area on Monday and said an alert system was needed. Meanwhile, the Department of Foreign Affairs said none of the 220 Filipinos in the area has so far been affected by a volcano-triggered tsunami. Malacanang, meanwhile, offered its sympathies to the victims of the disaster. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Up next on Y News. Bounty raised for Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe's killers to 30 million pesos. And 2 Wishcoveries from Camp Noy Ortiz advance to the next round of Wishcovery Season 2, The Singer and the Song. More reasons behind the stories when Y News returns. Welcome back to Y News. Here are the headlines.
I can say my husband, nationally, wala siyang kaaway. Even personally, wala siyang kaaway. He was friends of everybody. We don't have to look so far. The mastermind.
Family of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe believes that politics motivated the killing of the congressman.
Law and order means you have to destroy, not really fight, but destroy the Communist Party of the Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte orders the military to destroy communist rebels. And Education Department to possibly change dismissal order to expulsion against Ateneo student in viral bullying video. Police investigators are looking into politics and communist activity in the murder of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe. Here's why from Lea Ilagan.
The Philippine National Police Special Investigation Task Group is investigating the possible link of the New People's Army and politics to the killing of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe. 52-year-old Batocabe was attending a gift-giving activity for senior citizens and persons with disability in Daraga Albay on December 22 when he and his police escort SPO1 Orlando Diaz were shot dead by still unidentified assailants. According to PNP Chief Police Director General Oscar Albayalde, investigators are looking at politics as one of the possible motives for the murder. Batocabe, who was elected to the House of Representatives in 2010, filed his certificate of candidacy as mayor of Daraga in 2019 midterm elections. The PNP is also not discounting the possibility that Batocabe's slay may be linked to the NPA as the area where the crime occurred is allegedly highly influenced by the activities of the Communist Party of the Philippines.
Hinihingan ng revolutionary tax ng or extortion. Ine-extortan ito ng mga NPAs doon sa lugar at hindi siya nagbigay. That's one. And also, hindi natin tinitake for granted yung political motive nito.
Albayalde also confirmed that the Daraga Chief of Police, the Provincial Director of the Province of Albay, and the Regional Director of the Police Security and Protection Group or PSPG in the province were all relieved from their post following the incident. Lea Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Police investigators are eyeing 6 initial suspects in the killing of Congressman Rodel Batocabe as they begin examining CCTV footages near the crime scene. Authorities also believe that the lawmaker's murder was an organized crime. Mai Bermudez tells us why.
Authorities have started to check the CCTV footages recovered from an accommodation near the crime scene in Barangay Gabawan, Daraga in Albay to identify potential suspects in the murder of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe.
Merong CCTV footage doon sa malapit na parang inya tayo na maaring pinag-istambayan o tinuluyan ng mga pwedeng gumawa nito ng mga suspects. I-enhance pa yan because kung hindi gaano malinaw, so subject for pa yan ng examination ng cybercrime group.
Escobar believes it was an organized crime based on the authorities' initial assessment.
Kung titingnan mo, talagang pinagplanuhan because tingnan mo yung pag-get away nila, sumabay lang sila sa karamihan ng mga tao na paalis sa lugar. So, hindi nga ma-determine na kung gumamit ng sasakyan o motorsiklo. Walang gano'n na lumalabas.
Authorities eye 6 initial suspects in the crime. Meanwhile, Escobar says they have not established any link between Batocabe's assassination and the robbery incident in his party-mate Congressman Alfredo Garbin's house in Barangay Buragbuis in Legazpi City. Garbin lost 500,000 pesos worth of cash and checks and other valuables to the burglars.
But sa tingin ko, pure robbery.
Meanwhile, authorities have already identified one of the dead bodies discovered in the nearby village a day after Batocabe's slay. The body was identified as that of Arnulfo Barredo Cuyos, a resident of Agusan del Sur. Police say Cuyos was mentally ill. Prior to the crime, he approached authorities at Daraga Municipal Hall for help as he wanted to return home to his province. The police, meanwhile, are still identifying the identity of the other body discovered along Cuyos. The PNP concluded that the death of the two men has no connection with the murder of Congressman Batocabe. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Daraga Albay.
The family of slain Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe believes that local politics is the reason behind the killing of the lawmaker. Meanwhile, the family will also ask the Department of Justice or DOJ to place the possible witnesses on the case under the Witness Protection Program or WPP. Joanne Nano tells us why.
The bereaved family of slain Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batocabe is in deep sorrow after the sudden death of the lawmaker. The remains of late Congressman Batocabe is currently placed here at Dr. Ricardo Arcilla Hall in Daraga, Albay. Keen's friends and supporters poured out their condolences at the wake of the late congressman. Despite the two angles being looked into the murder of Representative Batocabe, his wife Gertie Batocabe believes that local politics is the reason behind the killing of the late lawmaker, insisting that her husband has no any enemy and that he was a friend to all.
This is local politics. Definitely. I can say my husband, nationally, wala siyang kaaway. Even personally, wala siyang kaaway. He was friends of everybody. We don't have to look so far. The mastermind.
Meanwhile, Attorney Justin Batocabe, son of Congressman Batocabe, leaves the investigation and its subsequent result to the authorities. He, however, said that he doesn't believe that the New People's Army is behind the killing of his father.
Wala ho silang statement na sila ang pumatay. So, dahil hindi pa ho nila inaako, sa tingin ko, hindi po sila.
According to the Batocabe family, the death of the congressman is a big loss to them. Apart from them, friends, co-workers, and supporters of Kong Batocabe are also in deep sorrow due to his sudden death. According to Ma'am Gertie, her husband was brutally killed on the day of their wedding anniversary. Their family once again called on those who have any information that could lead to the arrest of the suspects in the case. They will also ask the Department of Justice to place the possible witnesses under the Witness Protection Program.
Tulungan niyo po kami at ang otoridad. Ituro po ang mga salarin at ang mastermind. Handa po kaming magbigay ng pabuya mula sa 30 million intelligence and bounty fund. At ilagay po rin sila sa Witness Protection Program para mapadali po ang hustisya.
In a text message, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara confirmed that they can put the possible witnesses on the case under the provisional WPC as long as it is in compliance with all the legal requirements. According to the wife of the late congressman, they expect visitors and various personalities to visit the wake after the celebration of this holiday season. Congressman Batocabe's burial is scheduled on December 31, but the family is yet to decide on the time and location. Joanne Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Daraga, Albay.
President Rodrigo Duterte rejects the unilateral ceasefire declared by the Communist Party of the Philippines and ordered government troops to destroy them. Rosa Licos tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte stood firm that the government will not declare ceasefire with the Communist Party of the Philippines. Duterte also ordered the armed forces to destroy the communist rebels to finally attain law and order in the country. The chief executive made the statement when he visited and distributed gifts to the soldiers and families of the 10th Infantry Division of the Philippine Army in Compostela Valley last Saturday.
Law and order means we have to destroy, not really fight, but destroy the Communist Party of the Philippines, including its legal fronts and infrastructure. We do not subscribe to their ceasefire. We are ready for anything, and I said, change your paradigm. Do not fight them. Destroy them. Destroy them, kill them, basta destroy them.
Recently, the president ordered the creation of a national task force which will end the local communist armed conflict. Duterte assured he will assume full responsibility with this order.
We have to destroy them. Destroy them. Wala namang maniwala ng human rights. I assume full responsibility. Turo, kakita ninyo ako lang ang dinidemanda ng mga... Well and good. Look, the presidency, alam ninyo yan, is a gift from God. Kilala naman ninyo ako kung sino ako at anong... My gift to you Filipino, may freedom. Pag ako ang sinabi may kasalanan, aminin ko lahat yan at ako'y makulong, magpakulong ako. Okay lang. It would be an honor to go to prison for the Philippines. Ano mga isang...
However, President Duterte once again appealed to the members of the rebel group to return to the fold.
I am therefore taking this opportunity to call on communist terrorists to abandon their extreme activities and return to the fold of the law. Disregard the outmoded ideology that led you astray, and reintegrate into society so that you can lead more undignified lives.
Meanwhile, in his tweet, founder Jose Maria Sison said President Duterte is merciless. Rosa Licoz, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The Department of Education can still change the decision of the Ateneo de Manila University to the junior high school student from dismissal to expulsion. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
Dismissal was the decision of Ateneo de Manila University on the junior high school student who was seen in a viral video bullying his fellow student. This means he will no longer be able to study in the same school where he's enrolled. But according to DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones, they can change the decision and elevate it a more severe punishment of expulsion if the department finds stronger grounds and basis for the penalty. According to DepEd Order No. 88 Series of 2010, or the Manual for Private Schools, if a student is expelled, he or she can no longer be accepted in any private and public schools. The penalty is meted out on the student if he has committed gross misconduct and serious school offenses like assault or threat on a fellow student, enough for him not to be allowed to enroll in any school or university. According to Briones, child protection policy has long been implemented in schools wherein any form of abuse or violence is prohibited.
We have a policy, very clear policy on child protection. And we go by the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of the Child. It's not just physical, but mental as well as even electronic, cyber abuse of learners.
Based on DepEd Order No. 40 or the Child Protection Policy, schools are obliged to establish a Child Protection Committee to care and guide the youth who are victims of any kind of abuse. The committee is composed of teachers, guidance counselor, student council, and even representatives from the barangay in which the school is located. According to the released statement of ADMI President Ramon Villarin, both parties were informed about the decision and the management offered continued support to help them overcome this difficult time. Villarin also said they have created a task force to conduct comprehensive study on the current situation, ensure an independent audit on the present measures and systems to create a bully-free environment. Everyone is also encouraged to speak up against bullying and other forms of misconduct without fear and retaliation or censure. Meanwhile, Malacanang said all schools should learn from the said bullying incident and that they must implement a more stringent policy against bullying. The palace also reminded parents to guide and give proper attention to their children to help and mold them to become better persons. Aiko Miguel, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development is planning to create a module through its existing programs to spread awareness against bullying. Grace Casin tells us why.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development will use its existing programs to remind parents to constantly teach their children good values, proper social skills, and respect to others, so as not to become a bully. This is in connection with the recent bullying controversy involving junior high school student from the Ateneo de Manila University. According to DSWD Secretary Rolando Bautista, they are planning to create a module on bullying, which they intend to teach parent beneficiaries of the agency's programs such as Sustainable Development Livelihood Program, Social Pension, and Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program or 4Ps. Through the said program, DSWD is able to constantly interact with parents.
Yung discipline kasi ng bata nag-i-start sa pamilya Kaya dapat ang i-enhance natin or maybe ang pagtunan ng pansin din ng PSWD, paano natin ma-strengthen ang family ties at mapag-usapan itong ill effects ng bullying.
Bautista also assures they are willing to step in should their participation on investigation is required. This is in response to the call of Kabayan Party List Representative Raul Hernandez on DSWD to use its oversight power on the incident since there was physical violence involved.
Itinapang ang DSWD din, why not?
Grace Casid, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Another Wishcovery bids farewell to the Wishcover Season 2, the singer and the song after an intense vocal battle with other contenders from Camp Moy Ortiz. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
Three singing gems from South Luzon battled last night for a chance to continue their Wishcovery journey, showcasing their singing prowess to impress composer Wishcoverer boy Christopher were Chris Angelica de la Cruz, Christian Renono,
Basta't kasama kita, lahat magagawa, lahat ay maiaalay sa'yo.
and Paula Guevara.
Di kita lubusang maintindihan, aminin ko ang pagkukulang, hanggang kailan kita mamahalin.
Hindi ko malilimutan na sinabi ni Sir Moy na huwag daw sumuso sa mga pagsubok.
The last vocal battle for the remaining top 12 of each camp will be held starting later tonight. Wishcoveries that will make up the top 8 of each camp in the Wishcovery Season 2 The Singer and the Song will be completed this week. Lassie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News.
I don't think things are going to move very quickly here for the next couple of days.
Top Trump aide Mick Mulvaney says that partial U.S. government shutdown could stretch into New Year. Japan Emperor draws record birthday crowd ahead of abdication. And French inventor develops machine that turns plastic waste into fuel. Y News will be right back after this quick break.